With a star seemingly on his way out of a promotion and more, this is Pro Wrestling Central. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. As Rhea Ripley is set to defend her women's world title against Io Sky during Raw on Netflix tonight, the promotional playlist put out by WWE would be called out by the champ, with Ripley responding to the post made on X, writing, "There is literally so much more history between us than just this short-ass clip." Talking about his plans before heading out of Las Vegas for Buffalo, Grayson Waller said this in a clip on social media.
So I'm about to fly out of Vegas, heading to one of the worst places in America, Buffalo. Freezing cold, don't really want to go. But I've had a great weekend, got to represent the NRL, got to watch some real footy for the weekend, see some mates in Allegiant Stadium, the home of WrestleMania 41, and it kind of made me think about, WrestleMania last year. Best night of my life, 8-Town Down Under on top of the ladder, winning the tag team championships. Oh man, I gotta admit, got a little bit addicted to that feeling. So when I look at the landscape of WrestleMania 41, where does Grayson Waller fit in all that? To be honest, I don't really know. And that kind of hits. That hits hard. And I could be like some of the other flop wrestlers in the WWE, I could bitch and moan and complain online. I could even run to journalists, and I use that term very lightly, and talk about how I'm not getting any opportunities. Or I could do something about it. I think I'm going to do something about it.
As Canadian fans booed the American national anthem during Elimination Chamber, Pat McAfee would call Canada terrible in response on commentary. Now he has responded to the Backlash, noting on the Pat McAfee show, "Listen, there have been some things said to me from Canadians that I guess I respect because of the passion you have for your country. I hope you understand that I was showing the same for mine. You booed my country." Now, I heard from a lot of Canadians during the national anthem. Obviously, the Rogers Center was overwhelmingly loud with boos. My first reaction when our national anthem started up there was hearing some Canadians just start booing, and I was like, what? My entire life, my first reaction when someone boos the national anthem is, F you, get out of here. I'm very thankful that I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the United States of America. I'm very proud that I am from the USA. Is everything perfect? Absolutely not. But my dad went from being a truck driver to a millionaire because he taught his son a work ethic that anything is possible in this land. I know we're not the only country where that happens, but in my life, that is the case. I've also moved out here to Indiana and got a chance to meet a lot of military members. I've been to a lot of bases. I know Gold Star families. I know people who have been affected fighting for our country, people who really see the national anthem as our, hey, this is our thing. So anytime I've heard somebody boo our national anthem, my natural reaction is, let's fight. Now, a lot of Canadians have told me, why don't you do a little investigating into why we're booing? Do you hear what your president said? I understand there are political differences at the moment between the US and Canada, but when I think of Canada, I don't think of what Justin Trudeau does or his decisions. I don't think about Canadian politics. I think about the people in Canada and the magical times I had as a teenager at Niagara Falls. So I understand now that Canadians have a lot more passion for their country than I could have imagined. A lot of terrible things have been said about me. I understand it. You booed our country, and I said you're terrible. Let's shake hands. You said you didn't boo every member of the USA. Well, I didn't say the Canadians are terrible. I said your country is. So you booed us, and I said you're terrible. Let's shake hands and move along. That's all I'd like to say, and I still love Canadians. Inside the Elimination Chamber pod, CM Punk can be seen constantly putting back up his pod light during the match. Providing an update on the AEW status of Rey FENIX, Ringside News wrote that Rey FENIX's situation in AEW has created a lot of debate, with many criticizing Tony Khan for keeping him under contract without a clear reason, especially after adding injury time to his deal. With that said, it appears FENIX has now been removed from the AEW roster page. If one visits AEW's official roster page, one will find that Rey FENIX's name is missing from the R section of the roster, as fans are now convinced his time with AEW has come to an end and his future will continue to be a huge topic of discussion. This comes after Sean Ross Sapp reported that AEW had been considering releasing or letting contracts expire for some unhappy talent who wanted to leave. At one point, the company discussed releasing Rey FENIX but ultimately chose to keep him. This decision came during AEW's latest round of roster cuts, which included Malachi Black, Ricky Starks, and Miro. I had heard Friday that AEW releases were either happening or coming. At that moment, I thought it was just the Bear Boulder situation, which they fortunately very quickly took care of. I had heard for a while that within AEW they had at least considered releasing or letting contracts lapse on a few talent that were not happy and wanted to go elsewhere. At one point, they considered Rey FENIX. They didn't end up doing that. According to Chris Featherstone, negotiations between Tony Khan and FENIX were moving forward, with a resolution expected soon. AEW sources have informed me that negotiations between Tony Khan and Rey FENIX to end FENIX's tenure with the company are progressing, and resolution is expected to happen soon. I was also informed that Tony Khan has been heavily advised to put an end to this soon regarding FENIX's holding period. With WWE keeping a close eye on the situation, speculation continues to grow. According to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE is already preparing for the possibility of Rey FENIX joining the company. Therefore, we will have to wait and see if FENIX ends up joining his brother in WWE now that he has been removed from the roster. At Elimination Chamber, The Rock would get into a confrontation with a fan. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.